quitter. Aussie TV hosts pokes fun at Harry over ridiculous advice, Duke's career pulled to pieces. Australian TV hosts were left in stitches after ridiculing Prince Harry's advice to quit your job, labelling the comment a bit rich, coming from the royal. The comments from Prince Harry came during a Q&A as his role as Chief Impact Officer in mental health startup BetterUp. He said quitting your job for the sake of your mental health and happiness is something to be celebrated. The prince added that many people around the world are stuck in jobs that don't bring them joy, but now they are putting their mental health and happiness first by quitting. Today Show Australia hosts mocked the Duke of Sussex's comments. Host Richard Wilkins said, Prince Harry has come under fire again after saying that quitting your job can bring joy and should be celebrated. This advice from someone you know, who lives in a multi-million-dollar mansion with a $50 million Netflix deal and all, it's a bit rich, isn't it? What do you reckon? Susie Elman added, it is. There certainly is nothing like getting opinions from that rarefied air of wealth when you've got a trust fund that you've inherited, and you live in a $12 million mansion. The interesting comment that I think he made most of all was, you know, sometimes we have to settle for living in places less than what we would like to live in. She added, well, I know there's a lot of people at work that are trying to just keep a roof over their head, regardless of what that sort of home is. So I thought that they actually left the royals and wanted to be left alone and not have any publicity. Well, I've got to tell you, they're not doing themselves any favors. It's so true, especially in these times, people are living from paycheck to paycheck and they don't have that luxury just to kind of go, I'm not enjoying this. If only it was so simple. They joked, like there's only 3 things you have to do. You leave the family home, you become friends with Oprah and you signed a multi-million deal with Netflix. Is that easy? It's that easy. Prince Harry has caused fury online after saying that quitting your job can bring joy and should be celebrated, nearly 2 years after abandoning life as a working royal. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex chose to step down as members of the royal family in January 2020 and have begun carving out a new life in the US. But now Harry, 37, claims that the rise in job resignations during the coronavirus pandemic isn't all bad and he is pleased that people are putting their mental health and happiness first. His out-of-touch comments have been bashed by people online, claiming he really has no idea about the struggles people face. Royal expert Robert Jobson, responding to Harry's words, said, how would he know? Another person said, you don't get any more privileged than telling people to quit their jobs when they weren't born into wealth and need to pay bills. A third quipped, obviously speaking to the privileged few who wouldn't have to worry about bills/mortgage/feeding the kids if they quit their jobs. Most people are glad to have jobs after lockdown was lifted. Another user added, Prince Harry has never had to worry about keeping a roof over his head, paying bills, not having food in the cupboard. Most people have to work longer than 9 to 5 these days to make a livable wage. And another person was quick to call the prince's comments out of touch. They said, Prince Harry telling people to simply quit their job for their mental health if they aren't happy may be the most out of touch thing he's ever said. He's right, it would. But he's forgotten most of us don't inherit millions or have the luxury to stash millions fronting brands. The prince previously opened up about his mental health earlier this year in a documentary with Oprah Winfrey, claiming that his family showed total neglect for his mental health woes.